Hello, Acadiana, and thanks for tuning in to the 10 Talks Acadiana podcast. Joining us today is the one and only Senator John Kennedy. Senator, thank you for being with us.
Oh, thanks for having me, Dalfred.
No problem at all. I know you're a busy man, so we won't keep you long. We'll get right into it.
Okay.
Latest news is what's happening in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
I know you've had some choice words about what's happening there. How about you fill us in?
Stunning incompetence. Regardless of how you feel about the war in Afghanistan, the withdrawal was it was just stunningly incompetent. We saw it all on TV. Yeah. The panic, the chaos, the abandonment of billions of dollars of equipment. We have control, as you know, of the airport now, but the Taliban has control of everything outside the airport, and I don't know how we're going to get American lives out, but we better. Mm-hmm.
The pulling out of troops was bound to happen one day,
True.
I would imagine, just not as quickly as it happened, which was leading you to believe in competence.
Well, I mean, it's clear in hindsight that the right hand didn't know what the left hand was doing, that the withdrawal was too quick. They pulled the troops out before they secured the safety of Americans who were left behind, of our allies who were left behind. You know, they had other countries' soldiers and citizens working with us. Yeah. It was just, you look back and you go, you know, what were they thinking? Mm-hmm. Now, there'd be plenty of time to assess who was at fault. What we've got to do now, though, is get our people out. Yeah. We cannot leave these Americans behind because the Taliban will gut them like a fish.
Is there any talk in Washington about how we do that?
Well, we don't need to pass a law. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how you pass a law requiring common sense to tell someone not to pull out all of our troops before our people were safe. We've sent back in, the president sent back in about 5,000 troops. They have secured the airport. Before they left, the troops were ordered to shut down a second airport that in hindsight we clearly should have left open. But we still have, I've seen reports as high as 20,000 Americans trapped behind enemy lines. Okay. And I don't know how we're going to get them out. I'm told that they're talking to the Taliban and basically begging them to please let our people go. But it's just, this never should have happened. I mean, it was just never, ever should have happened.
I know seeing some of the images on TV have been disheartening and sometimes difficult to look at.
Well, this is the biggest terrorist victory since 9/11. And this has reinvigorated jihadists all over the world. This has really hurt America's reputation. Our enemies, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, are going to use it against us. But priority one, get our people out. And by our people, I mean the Americans, the Afghans who helped us, the interpreters, and the foreign citizens there who were fighting along with us.
Okay, I know you'll keep us informed to any developments there. Let's move on to our next topic, which is infrastructure. Mm-hmm. I know you fought hard to get some dollars for the state. What's the latest on that? Where do we stand?
Well, I opposed the infrastructure bill in the Senate, and here's why. I originally was a yes, and then I got a copy of the bill. They told us it was about real infrastructure, hard infrastructure, roads, bridges. Right. It's not. Only 23% of the bill deals with hard infrastructure. The rest is just Green New Deal and welfare. Mm-hmm. They told us the bill was paid for. It isn't. We're going to have to borrow about $400 billion to pay for it. They told us they weren't going to raise taxes. They did. They raised about $14 billion in new taxes, the lion's share of which is going to fall on Louisiana and Texas, our petrochemical industry. Mm-hmm. Under the bill, we would get a little bit more infrastructure money, maybe 15% more a year, maybe $110 million, but we would have to pay $130 million in new taxes. And most of the bill, there are no projects listed in the bill. Most of the money is just going to be put into a slush fund for President Biden's administration to dole out as they see fit. And you know, my mother didn't raise a fool, and if she did, it was one of my brothers. I'm not going to vote to go borrow $400 billion and give it to the Biden administration to dole it out on the basis of politics. That's going to shortchange Louisiana.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting to. I know specifically we need money for our roads and our bridges.
Well, I'm for everybody's for infrastructure. Yeah. I mean, you know, being against infrastructure is like hating golden retrievers. But I'm for infrastructure. I'm not for infrastructure at any cost, no matter what. Right. And this is one of the worst bills I've seen since I've been in Washington. It's real swamp stuff.
As we make a pretty seamless transition, we talk about bridges. The Lake Charles Bridge has been on many lists. Now, let's stay in Lake Charles and talk about recovery following Hurricane Laura.
Yeah.
They're still picking up the pieces there.
Well, that's one of the other reasons I voted against the bill. I introduced an amendment to the infrastructure bill. Since they were giving away all this so-called free money, nothing's free in this world. Anything free, somebody had to work for. But I said, look, you know, my southwest part of my state, my people were hit by 3 hurricanes and several bad floods, and we need some money, some help. And the Senate refused to go along. I got 19 votes. Not a single Democrat that I can recall voted with me. I've repeatedly talked to President Biden about it until he instructs my Democratic friends to vote for the disaster relief. I'm afraid we're not going to get it. I've offered a bill separately, standalone bill in the Senate, and until President Biden okays it, we're not going to get the money.
Okay. Well, Senator Kennedy, right now we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
But we'll be right back, talk more about oil and gas as well as the Seacor Power hearings.
Sure.
So stick with us. We'll be right back with 10 Talks Acadiana. Welcome back to 10 Talks Acadiana. Still here with the Senator John Kennedy, moving along to the Seacor Power hearings. Yeah. Just wrapped up the second week of the Coast Guard's listening to witnesses' testimonies. What's Washington's response to what happened out there in the Gulf?
Well, I've followed the hearings. It appears it was human error. The lift boat itself has been examined, and they don't find any major structural problems. I think it looks to me like just a woeful lack of communication. We had this bad weather in the Gulf. Before the boat capsized, it had been reported widely that the bad weather was there. I don't know why the captain didn't turn back. I don't know why somebody with the company didn't inform the captain if he didn't know that the bad weather was there. There was a total lack of communication between and among the onshore employees of the company, the captain, and the Coast Guard. There was a total lack, an inexcusable lack of communication in the rescue. Family members were not kept apprised of what's going on. I've introduced a piece of legislation called the Vessel Response Plan Improvement Act, which is going to require these companies from now on to communicate better with family members. I've asked my colleagues on the Homeland Security Committee Subcommittee of Appropriations and the Commerce Committee to hold hearings. It's just a horrible, horrible tragedy. 13 lives lost, and it looks to me like it was just human error, just lack of communication. The boat just sailed right in to a mini hurricane. And why the boat didn't turn back, why the captain wasn't told, why he didn't know. That's just inexcusable. This is 2021. It's not 1921.
Right. Yeah, hopefully that that bill can move through so we can have better communication between all parties, whether they be federal, working class. Everybody needs to be on the same page when it comes to situations like that, because you see the families
it was
in
horrible.
tears.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
There was chaos. There was nobody communicating with anyone. Our family members couldn't get information about the search and rescue mission. But I think it's going to come down to human error.
Okay. As we stick on the oil and gas industry, OPEC has been requested by the president to boost their production.
Yeah.
What does that mean for Acadiana or Louisiana, because we're so dependent on oil and gas?
Well, good question. Ours is the greatest economy in all of human history. And 80% of our economy depends upon fossil fuels for its energy needs. We can't run the American economy without fossil fuels. I'm against other forms of fuels, alternative energy, but the Biden administration has declared war on oil and gas, on LNG, on petrochemical. The most recent infrastructure bill popped a brand new $14 billion tax on our petrochemical companies. And the president is tamping down our domestic production, but asking us to buy oil from foreign countries. It makes no sense, as opposed to having us produce our own. And as best I can tell, President Biden's energy plan is let's don't produce our own oil. Let's buy the oil from countries that hate us, so those countries will have more money to buy weapons to try to kill us. It makes no sense. We were 6, 8, 10 months ago, we were energy independent in America. We didn't have to depend on anybody. We produced our own oil and gas. That's no longer the case. And I don't understand President Biden's antipathy for the oil and gas community. I just don't.
Is there a way to phase in clean energy without damaging our economy and putting so many of our people out of work?
But the President Biden's people don't want to do that. I mean, I've met these people. They have to come before us in the Senate to be confirmed. They hate oil and gas. They want to eliminate it immediately. They want to eliminate LNG. Frankly, they want to eliminate the petrochemical industry. I don't know how we're going to operate the economy. I don't know about you, but my car doesn't run off fairy dust and unicorn urine. It takes gasoline. Yeah. I think fossil fuels are always going to be a part of supplying the energy for our country, and these people are living in la-la land.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but in 2024, how does President John Kennedy phase in clean energy?
Oh, what I would do, I'd be realistic. I'd say, look, I'm an all-of-the-above energy type guy. Yes, I'm fossil fuels and proud of it. But we can develop wind, we can develop solar, we can develop nuclear, we can develop hydrogen, we can develop hydroelectric power. Yeah. But we can't do without fossil fuels. And there is a way with carbon capture, sequestration, and utilization to make fossil fuels cleaner. But that's not what most of the people in the Biden administration want to do. To them, if you support fossil fuels, you're evil. And they want to get rid of all fossil fuels immediately. And it's totally unrealistic.
Well, Senator Kennedy,
it'll also gut Louisiana like a fish.
Yeah, I know we're very dependent on oil and gas, and so many of your constituents and my neighbors all depend on oil and gas to feed their families.
Well, we're the best in the world at it, and if they'll leave us alone, we can return to energy independence, and we can do it in a way through carbon capture and some other techniques to try to clean up fossil fuels.
Okay. We'll look forward to hearing more on that. Senator John Kennedy, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you all for tuning in to 10 Talks Acadiana.